All right, hey gang, it's Jimmy coming to you from the Cowtown compound with a weekly update from Facts Not Fiction. And we're going to talk about what's going on this week, and we're going to talk about what's going to be coming up as well. You know, the series on the Arrested by Order really generated a lot of interest. If you haven't kept up with it, go back on my Facebook page and look at the series that I did. We finished it up with a podcast where I take it from start to finish. And you can find that, like I say, on Facebook, on my YouTube channel, Anchor, Spotify, iHeart. And next week, we're going to be up on Google or Apple. So really take another look at that. Also, my article this week on Faulkner County reports on all the craziness going on at the Conway PD Chief's office, Chief William Tapley, with his administration. A new lawsuit's been filed specifically against him for racial and gender discrimination, and there's just no shock there, right? Yesterday, I personally filed a complaint with the police department on Major Clay Smith at the PD. Despite his admission of sexual misconduct, Chief Tapley has done nothing about it, nothing. And while he's done nothing, Mayor Bart Casper has turned a blind eye and deaf ear to all of this going on at the Conway PD. And I'm working to force them to take some action. This has just got way ridiculous. UCA cheer team up here in Conway. If you didn't know, this week the team season was abruptly suspended without reason. And it caused a lot of uproar in Conway. People were really put out about it, so they actually reinstated the program just probably faster than they suspended it, with a different coach. An alumni member has stepped up to coach the team, but they still have not said why the suspension was put in place to begin with. So THV is reporting that there were some racial issues with the coach. I don't know. I do know I have a FOI request into UCA, and they don't want to give me the information. They're fighting me on it, but if you know me, I'm fighting back. And I'm going to do my best to find out exactly what happened and why the UCA is hiding this. I mean, there's something there that I can't understand why they would hide this information. Go ahead and check out my post today about the email I sent to Cabot School Board President Sarah Owen, the rest of the board, and Superintendent Tony Thurman about their partnership with Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley on him commanding the school resources officers. I mean, they had basically put a vicious criminal in charge of protecting students from vicious criminals. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So go check that out. I'm taking them to task for it. And speaking of the Cabot School Board, my attorney, Joey McCutcheon, will be giving an update on the lawsuit I have filed against them for violating the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. He'll be doing that next Wednesday on the Dave Ellswick Show. So look at that. It's a really important lawsuit that's going to have statewide ramifications. Joey, his partner Chip Sexton, Stephen Naparano are freaking bulldogs when it comes to fighting for right. And this is certainly a fight for that. And they're prepared to take this all the way to the Arkansas Supreme Court if necessary. It shouldn't be necessary, but, you know, it's in court down in Lonoke County, so who knows, right? Early next week, I'm going to have Stan Morris on in a podcast with me. Stan is a excellent investigative reporter with the Northeast Arkansas Reports News Agency. And since day one, he's been digging hard into the death of Marshall Ray Price while he was in the custody of the Greene County Sheriff's Department. Now, this is something that most in other parts of the state have not heard about. It's really something, though. Little Rock Media just continues to do a poor job of covering the news, but Stan is on it. He's going to join us and take it from start to where we're at today. This has shades of Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley written all over. This is pretty ugly stuff, so you're going to want to watch that. I'm trying to get hold of Heather Beach Turchie today to get her to come on the podcast with me next week. If you don't know Heather, you need to look into her and check her out. She is one hell of a strong conservative with what I'm going to call an attitude, but I mean that in a complimentary type of way. I mean, she is a fireball. I want to get her on to talk about the so-called book bans that everybody's talking about, and indoctrination going on in schools. I mean, you're going to love Heather because, I mean, she doesn't mince words a bit. She tells it like it is. So hopefully I'm going to get her on. She's a lot of fun. Here's something crazy. If you haven't seen this TikTok video going around from @cartoonish Claude, you really need to. It talks about the need to pay back black people reparations for slavery, and it pretty much tries to make white people look like something that would make ISIS look like a Girl Scout troop. We're going to get into that as well next week. It's really something. I mean, if you're looking for me to pay reparations for something that happened hundreds of years ago, you can shit in one hand, want in the other. It's not going to happen. I've also got a whole lot of investigations going on right now, as you might guess, on some very corrupt and unethical, dishonest people. As they progress, as I keep them going, of course, I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to bring it to you and get it out there to the public. But there's a lot going on, and it's just uncalled for. It's just uncalled for. And you know how I am on that stuff. I'm going to dig in, and we're going to call people out for those actions. We're going to do it. Now, like I said, I've launched our podcast this week, Facts Not Fiction with Jimmy Kevin. The video versions are on Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. And the audio version right now is on iHeart. And like I said earlier, it's soon to be on Google and Apple. And I hope you all will follow me as well on those. We're going to try to have fun with that. And you know me, I'm going to bring things out that make bad people mad. And I'm glad to do it. Now, next week I'll be on the Dave Ellswick Show, co-hosting with Dave, next Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 101.1 FM The Answer. Now, we're going to cover a lot, and if you listen to the show, you're going to find out we don't pull any punches, so tune in on that. It's not boring at all. We really get into some good stuff. Last thing. As you guys know, I talked about it a little earlier, I've been exposing a whole lot of unethical behavior in Conway PD Chief William Tapley's office and with his command staff members, mainly Assistant Chief Harris and Major Clay Smith, and the way they treat the boots on the ground in Conway. The people on the front lines that get it done. On social media, do me a favor, please give a deserved shout out to all the patrol officers at the Conway PD, okay? They're going through a lot right now under this chief and Mary Bart Castleberry that they shouldn't have to endure. They just shouldn't. It's ridiculous. I hope you'll be vocal in your support of them. They do a fabulous job. They do a fabulous job on the streets, and they're great officers. And again, they just don't deserve what they're going through whatsoever. And so, let's all back the blue on the front lines. Let's back the blue on the front lines. They deserve every bit of it, okay? All right, guys, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Look forward to me to spreading all the stuff next week. Thanks.